Okay, malungil tutaw beklaat. Ilata magduk morsel programmer gidra MOJ Family Hour makuk mangua ol yung sanga randi mang mo open programmer gid. Ikaw malmol mlabang omang kila a special guest gid al tutaw randi.
Okay, malungil total marbek la adro ko lorang sang rel belaw rel alt mal klabo lungil Friday. Solado mesa teme despite den tigim la yang lakra 11 why sel do sa den Elia el alt sils kada mo introducing gel BS el appointed director ra Bureau of Public Safety ma tiagi da sel group na gel wal sure gida Eli el MOJ Family Hour and dim lang press conference so kada mga mo quartel sure el alt time al 11 a.m. na Friday and di tel sure ra MOJ Family Hour mal mol mal bekel stay ra 11 a.m. So kada malang tangat el alt sils ra temela MOJ Family Hour yang telo bangeda tangak el Vice President el J Udu Sangabaw Senior. So malungil total ko kawe Madam Vice President kada ko malungil lang udel ko ngatal sure gid el alt sils ko ka introduce mo tang lingkal be SL Director ra Bureau of Public Safety ni tutaw.
Malungit tuta Randy and happy Friday. Malmasaw la mira ipi FM sa malmelo pangela kal Director Carrie Levitt. Ya era boda dong do ringi ko te pa do ringa sulero bakal Dios tial klubo kal sil sa balungol meskid dire kal mal mrenga sulera ay gerogul activities el mlaringi el al tal Sunday el tiagi dia police week mel ang adang art sel mo mangulubong al sils tial police week which is the 19th of May maldo mga tiang ang kagi dele Director Levitt tabo dong odori di soal mangutel te ale mal losus mungutling ara balur belaw mga takot at maususra araklay may betul marubukul belaw tiri kalmora rokuy el pilong maibiraklay masil belaw tokubet salungil tutaw almora a President of the Republic belaw His Excellency Surang Al-S. Whips Jr. Marokuy el Minister sa Cabinet ringi tiri malungil tutal mga President sa Senate Senator Baules marokul Senators mura Speaker House of Delegates Speaker Sabino Anastasio marokul delegates dirikal mura Judiciary ra Chief Justice ngiray galaw marokul justices and judges ra Palau Supreme Court dirikal mura bekrokul adra belur belaw musabi iral lomes tiang oreng sergit al tutaw ma auriura tial program bolso iral lomes ringira YouTube. So, gigit ya susel waktur el ange, gito ko ma omo ulwase nga ka mal support tial appointment ra President Whip Selmora Director Levitt. Hindi ka talboy lorior hindi el sila igelo ko del klabsay ang mal plakarong ulem la kutmok la ngilorior al sila blia pulis el mo makatakl adar murtra tukora transparency ma integrity ma professionalism arbulis mandi el sel other club sak mlame say ke mapaytong at alrel ang alkurangul masanga Director Levitt so he can say a few words about himself first raw era bodo getting yagire nga kangatya lolioida okay
Sure.
So lang Director Mukme damay ka.
Yes, please bring it closer, yeah.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice President. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm an American from Massachusetts with 6 siblings, and I have a father who was a policeman. I joined the Army when I was 17.
Kagidlo ay sulwaseng adrabalura Massachusetts Ramrigel. Okore nga rin baby ringi. El tatelo la marbebi ringi. Adamal am lebulis. Ser al troy am widarigil. En lesois val mo join ra army. Lara you le other sele United States Army Military Police Corps.
So while I was a military policeman, I did almost every job you could do in law enforcement, which was patrolman, military working dog, MPI supervisor, military police investigator supervisor, customs inspector, rear detachment commander.
Okay. Mang ay del blalbol lomas arogo ay lurior rule. Mang ay wayal ko talang tingil tokora law enforcement algil mok lam malubeng experience ring ay klegay ring patrolmen military ngongara alay dom kadong mong K9 albilis al lehendalar mungulong ra la ay di lurior lo bengela bilis emle des ka sergeant diria kalmle supervisor MPI is this military police
Yes,
investigator mang supervise sa investigation or military police diria kalmle ra customs mang inspector ra customs diria kalmle rear detachment commander. What kind of ngaralurior o morul as rear detachment commander? What do you do?
You have a rear and a forward. So when
Yeah, speaking to the microphone.
this microphone, thanks. Speaking to her, when you do a forward deployment and you're supporting other units downrange, such as Iraq or Afghanistan, you're going to have a rear detachment and a forward detachment. And during that time, I was getting back surgery and being senior ranking, they asked me to be the rear detachment commander to manage the company, the unit, while half of us went overseas.
Okay. Mga kagid yal milokol kumulwa sa ikalurior military nga niya ngel ngar madal manggel kurang arabak sila nga niya detachment malube kamlora Afghanistan o mang waya lukukulong ra sa lurior deployment at team mo Afghanistan mang nga ngel ngar madal lo pang rior manggel ngar arabak mang kaya ako kumla ngar sa igit yal wayal albakal tretele laurior Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yeah. Each job I've listed here, I didn't list them all. If you did your job well, you got selected for the next job. And it isn't just doing your job, it's doing it well to accept more responsibility. And I didn't put it in the right order, but every job is harder than the next. So that's what happens when you get more pay, more rank, and that's what I expect of my police officers as well.
Mang kagi dalaw ay sulwase mang selso ko makangarte ay dal drual le kuk maungira urere me kongoriak kal morsel guk nexal al drual mang kang amil lamyak logiwa ungil urere al maral mo al morbabal af mang sisiu lul daswa lobang sel le merti ay di al Bureau of Public Safety lwase al skum ka bolis tuira ngilu rerem kamaral mo to kangar alem maral mo ngarba badru alem mawdudem lul tuira ngilu rerem segi dial qura obal melul daso al wesel girira pulis tial belaw.
Thank you. And then I retired. So I thought.
Okay. How many years kamli retire?
That was 18 at the time.
Okay. So after true may ara kal nga army en wase retire. Akmomre ka lodior and the loob en nilutal modior.
Yes.
So what did you do?
So I wasn't done yet. At 40 is a new 20. So I provided a high threat protection for the Middle East in Iraq and Afghanistan, which is for the embassy. I can't go into much detail about that, but we went into the red zones. We had to search for explosives. We had to clear venues for VIPs. It was a very risky job, but it was all in support of the U.S. military.
Mang ngulmo ulwase kidal tingin wase selbo loko wargid ya to el aldo mesri wase 40 is the new 20 mangwaya ko argi mending wa odir kam lui argi melendir kam sisi abadinge medir ka sabe mal marula urior manglilutan mo urior hindi sera labong yang mlora igel mal kengaol igel urior role leng mlora tom katongan ngik mo high threat protection lurior Middle East mangka serabo lurior eng cheka korado mangrang Middle East leng sungo mang ngaring yar korang arbabal ada bi ay pingiri chekal waseng ngaring ado bangaral bi tartir mangiri clear ay gay di al threat sa may segi di aluro ringira labora did you say Afghanistan?
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
Both, yes. So after that, it was good money, and a lot of the people that didn't risk their lives were making more money, and they were doing IT. So from there, I got a job working for the Federal Service as an Information Technology Senior Level Management Supervisor for the United States Army in Europe.
Mangka nga koramal miru lay kay gidiel genga lemring lurior koram lomal aswar wa sempay nga riyar masukal mo terklolo daw el miru lay gel dom kadong at mong IT kora di information technology ay kay gidili kora nga internet mang kore wa se ere pay kuk por segid mangguk pay mlorior al federal US Federal Service al title ring sel time amlo information technology senior level management supervisor en ka mle support ra United States Army nga ra Europe pal mrulaway kay kidalurior korawal technology.
So information technology, you're dealing with security. Is that also something you dealt with, like
Oh, yes.
intelligence?
Yes, we
in
have.
regards to the internet. And
Yes, it's cybersecurity.
cybersecurity. Yeah.
There's things I can't discuss, but we have several layers in place that we use in our technical logical architecture, which is the TLA or the JTLA stack, where we're working with other units. We separate them by VLANs. It gets complicated,
Yeah.
but our job was to combine two combatant commands for USACOM and AFRICOM from Europe. It has to do with satellite communications.
But and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's also really important. Baisleg kada asoy sa bara atal internet age kada malamom sa Bitcoin.
Yes.
May kaya kora baby na mal makluto trel dira kalungin ata focus gila.
Malmaral way se Randy mang meringa nga kamo oy di ay gel bato kal dilong al girel ay gel talitara urior mingia dira kalo ay silo sente kal salmal sa bel mo o kora bala taklaw ay sa gel talang tingil ay gel urior rolling intelligence ra US military mangwal ko ra protected al information and way gel blaldo Randy maral ko ra ngatial el doon ngira ko kigay di el tokoy security intelligence amral do spengi le cyber security threats amral mlame so isbra al siltial balwadra balur belaw mang adomes ringil waseng kirel ngaringa way kay kidel cloud ngira adal ngarte kidel dru alra Director of Bureau of Public Safety. Leng tarabe is a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, internet and intelligence and cybersecurity is like a new threat, new frontier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a threat also.
Well, technically, Tiakoram Lamo old frontier, but Palau, you know, it's still a new frontier for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So this is great.
Oh, thank you. So that was where you were among Miro Rosel mo retire.
That was my second retirement.
So mo sige
second
mo
retirement.
o alam mo retire sa lo ay sulwa sing le retire sir al 40 the new 20 o kore marungulang marko ngal ubang lutal mo ngal mortegi di al field ra ko ka intelligence cybersecurity may gigi di role and mungwalom ka tong mong number 2 retirement.
I see.
And then you came here.
Well, at 50, that's the new 30.
That's the new 30.
Makagidalo ngalakalwa si elal ko kayo margile segit sel ko tamo ko ngin wase ng beso loko dergi to mangkakmal dir kam sisi abadingele so bel gut mo claudio ra ela.
So I had skills, sold 3 houses in 5 years in Germany, renovating. But when I renovated one, I got bored. I went to the next one and next one. I went to Texas afterwards and bought a house there. I was done working, so I thought.
Okay. Mang kagidalo ay sila se ka kuramal malodi kale kura am sisi abadinga sa dulwaseng mal makarager. Mang MSS mang ngila o ay susang mla kalde ablil ra sila blura Germany dois mang mo nya ko kruleo na bla momre ko matabla ruli keringi ko momre ko matabla keringi momre ra Germany ya uri regi dil temel nga Germany gilutal ma Texas ya bla Texas segi diang mola se irak mal di mertia lolongul emerkol nga Texas mang mol mararabli ra Texas.
Ya loob.
Ya loob en kagidal. And so kabong, you tell us what happened when you went to Texas, got a house, thought you were gonna be set there.
Well, the same thing happened. The house was fairly new, nothing to renovate. And one thing I forget is I have many resumes out there. I'm not a chicken. I'm kind of old right now. So I had resumes that were scattered on the internet, and people would call me for interviews. And then I got the call to go to Wisconsin as the Information Technology Specialist Security Officer for 13,000 Afghanistans that were flown in to give them safe housing for refugees.
Did you say Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, yes.
Mangkagidal wase mangkuk ngarsay, ang kapto ka kuraway al isel mal resume ringin nga internet mga niya adul gukmong el amesa nga mga niyam le kantak taringil dire kalgire la tarawrior mamlora Wisconsin and mlorior say. So what was your main responsibility in Wisconsin for the job you did?
That would be building a database to monitor all employees that came there because we're dealing with foreign nationals from Afghanistan.
Okay.
We had to do background checks on them and everyone that was supporting the exercise, the Americans, because you're on a military base.
Mangka ngamlon morsel mora military base nga ra Wisconsin, maurere lakot maklia database mo sabi lomes momdan tir kal patokal adra Afghanistan al morsel mo orior. How many people were you talking about?
13,000.
Okay, so 13,000 al adal foreign nationals al mlong mangar alela mirur segi del wayal database at tegi del US military base mensabi so his al celtial system mense edal monitor tir kay del foreign nationals lulur mang hindi na kal nga niya experience ring murula database mang halak mo tiyang yaktulwas yung mal masawla a director lavit Sara previous administration, yung nga Vice President Oilo, Minister of Justice, yung milgat mokla template, algira dal di olsis by information ra alsel. Masira kukpeksis bakmula sa igaro ko el divisions, ngira dal olsis by information algira alsel tial. El database, el kaltmok, lamang mo si edrol toda information. So kung maad ogel kung tela, sirara ka 2021 yung mletela, ay gagi di el crimes for example, mletela DUI, engira del di, aktingar obis nga kem tira botang yung pop out to say, sila 2021 yung mletela nga DUI cases, el reported blabulis. Okay, so, ang kaigid yung director al mlamay, radi el sela o kadel club say, ang mlamos start talawrior tial template el database na blabuli so mang biko sa ngaryay lebi ko sa akmal sa kalwasel ang ultoy na experience ringi tagit ang kagid lo ay sirgit alwasing madingi database el build a database so mang. Thank you so much for I'm just saying you you already know Palawan eh?
I've learned a lot of Palawan today.
Oh, I mean, okay, so we may continue.
Yes, I understood most of that, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Which is really good. It's going to help my job. I have other answers for your questions pertaining to this database.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing there, and I'll talk more about it later. But as I created the database, I took away jobs because we didn't need 10 people giving us information. We consolidated our database and we shared it. And that's something I started doing here. So you need less manpower when we can share information through the internet, which is what Palau should have been doing 20 years ago, but it takes time and money.
Oh, halo ko niya ko say, mangkagitak mo say, el doral mo, ngeng sabi edal mo, o dakta kay gero kul information lo dalap mambiyo tatol to ba gel information log you take the database. Therefore, hindi kal Takadaw sperak malbat to kal adal marurit tiyalo sisiw lodyor. Masengo sugi dalil skum tomo makasar adal marula artegi doloryor lol sisaba information ra database ra blabulis etirgel guk mo o diakalorur seguida se adal guk kol si il guk kol ngasera kuk pebira aurior ra blabulis.
So summing that up, of all the information that's in there, and I know how to use it, I don't have to give her 10 pages of reports to read. I can show her a pie chart. I can show her a bar graph of information of how much crime went up or down depending on how well we're working, so we can target crime. And that's what I'm doing here now.
So this system didn't exist, or was it not being used?
Well, I was designing it when I first heard about Palau 2 years ago. So it's similar to what I've done before, but the information changes. But when I got here, I found out there's a huge template that's already divided amongst the other divisions, and now I'm making them use it. And now we're designing it to make it easier for everyone understands.
Wow.
Okay. Ma halaklo tuloy di lang mal el korao nga sireng toy tial dili mang waigel gulo ko ngaringa system ngaringa template hindi lagi mo spe ringi arbuli sa dimla kalo spe ringi del ang mlame mang mla mo start lol sisba information ra al sel tagi del template mang kagi del melgol wasay Mel adoral mong ing sebel dia kabel ko lola bari portal lo krokolom skak ing sebel dia tabdi ay gagi dali pie chart taluben graph lol all tay gagi dilwase ang crimes ang lorbabang lorio ngara ay gel badingel la crimes al domes atara dira kal malso kal al moduli at yagi ngultoy tiagi dial el template el ngaringil bodol ay information ing sabeel lo mesringi wasay ego example rangar beed le ing kakya rangar beed
Oy.
mangsiel lo meses mal bato ka avenwal gire la domestic violence rangar beed mingire dal make sure say dia mo cloa outreach el moringi Kloa al do al gire la atarbanye la igagi del dom kadong monguldi ka la malube nguldi ka al sila dalong ukla so mang sabel dio kiway igagi del deira al gido olsis para al sel tial system rabla bulis el ngaria template ya da identify lo ase ngarge igel area al gire del loldo kartokol bulis el moringin mo check surveillance ra telaklok mo telaklok. So, we see that already.
Okay, may ila kadam lara Wisconsin. So, what happened after Wisconsin?
How did you get here?
Well, they say it the new 55 is the new 35. So, hopefully it stays at 20 years and no less. The vice president, she has a statement of we need to change public perception in order to restore trust and integrity. That's catching to me because I was always law enforcement. We don't look to get shot. We get shot at. We're the ones helping people. So it takes a special individual, especially we recognize during police week, for people to do that. And I just wasn't done. I heard that this country might need my help. They had, I think, 3 resumes for me. I don't know where they came from. So they combined them for the cybersecurity, the police work, everything I've done before, dog handling. And I was called by the president. It was an interview on what I could do to help. And that's why I'm here, to help.
Magkita o ring sringil wase umle ngaria tokol resume ringi ang mang president rebela amlo mesa segi dia igal resume ringi president rebela amle kantak taringi al mulwase me mol nga sir kamam mang ngilengel me e olong sew hindi na kan milokol wase atokoy nga kamla tulia wase nga kal minister of justice wase gira dal improve gira maungila o singira adrabulul gira la tetele laureri ra kalbulis e nya mo subira adrabulul mo marangar arbulis mangwasen di masegi da wa alqora adire kalo matoringi di kita arbulis hablo el domo esertir can you repeat what you said about police being shot at and
It's a dangerous job.
oh okay sige da mo tegala tingin waseng mali misel tiagi nga lurior tiagi dia dire kaldul ngat ado oringe randir gira la police week sel time el sebe del qora le clear el momal aswara mringa lurere police sige del wasen sebe el matamalak lang aratir sebe el math while on duty loro sige del lurior okay so mainly kagi damlak murgid mang artiang al swalol nga se orgid other belaw.
All right, and I guess just from hearing that people are, especially Palauans, are asking, and people probably read already on the newspaper. They all know, how much you're going to get paid. They're already kind of researched and done this, so people are feeling, this is a little bit lower than what you've been getting paid. So why choose Palau? Why were you sort of drawn to helping Palau?
Because everyone wants to be a hero, but you can't choose to be one. Okay, I chose this job because I like helping people. My fiance, we were going to get married. She encouraged me to come here because you're helping out a country. You're just not helping a community. You're helping out a country. And with all my skills, I could choose any job I want. I have 2 retirements. I'm done, but I don't think I'm done inside. So coming here, helping the Palauan people is humbling.
Ngasing malsokan mil nga sir adra balur belaw. Nga ka la retire 2 times. Ranti mentik mo loy siya tamatik mong malata blol check. Retirement tra US military nga ringi tirgel dodan tarir el dire kam la retire US military di mi takalwase ngungi la benefits tire tamala kola
Mandi ka
ludaw so adal mom abolotin adal sintia nda ludaw daw ulang artiang ending swalol nga sew manggigidul wase choose swal mer belalol nga sew gidar other belaw abi ila dire kal fiance ringi nga niya ardi lobengel el giril mo kaubu dire kal wal lulisi ra arangol ek mulwase ngungil obong ya mga sera balur belaw. Say gidil.
If you choose a job you love doing, you'll never work again.
Oy, malmasam na doli say gidi. Alsum ka mo nguaw rior al kawa asamarial maruringi. Embro ko lakmo kati ka mo rior. Ngwayal pekalsil sal obigis kasamarial al mo rior mang diungi la ngo membro rior like take it set mal so amal maruringi ka choose mo maruringi. Mga ka mal nga sole me Director Lavit, thank you for coming to Palau.
So, with all of this information that people are hearing about on the newspaper, what people don't know is that you landed and you had to start working immediately. What are the things that you were sort of faced with as soon as you landed? They said you came on the ground running, or
Oh yeah, you hit the ground
you
running.
hit the ground running. That's what how they described it.
Dim la hit ground the mortal budulay gagi dalay maligal yung mlani assess bralent field.
Oh wow!
I think I was still wearing the clothes from the airplane when I saw
Wow.
it. So, I got 2 sheets of paper in front of me.
Gagi dagel blalo maska.
So my intention was 30, 60, 90-day evaluations. After 30 days, I would brief the Madam Vice President on what I discovered, what we need to work on. But I saw so many things that need to be corrected. I went through all the SOPs, regulations, memorandums of agreement that we have with countries, and I would brief her on what our priorities were so I could understand what resources we needed and what we needed to improve.
Okay. Mga gidro ay sula sim sira lame ako tuluru ngi amlo tong okle o meslo say ngara sel alwabol planner ngira o del club say sel planner ngira sel okol mal club say sel planner ngira sel okotiwal club say alangara orior waya labol lo ay sir nga mandi al sel say gidro del club say ang lom dingel wa sel mal gora to ka gidel al malisi al teletele la orior abla bulis mang segi dere elang awa lorior ngi ultuira gel oil the mamra bekal sunday kotolorior bekal sunday kay gi adadu en by focus ngi elang asem makarado siga resources ngara gel sabe del smigal el nges wal ngo sutriar bulis regel lorior lorul.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have certain things that you focused on for your evaluation. What were the things that you found from your evaluation, and what are things that we could, at least? And I know you could probably get into detail and talk about this for 3 hours, 4 hours, but we want to kind of keep it general so everybody can have an idea of at least what are the things that you're focused on in improving in the current system right now?
What are priorities, eh?
Oo.
Your priorities.
Every day is a daily challenge to get people to work, hold them accountable for what they do. That job will never go away. So when I brief the vice president on what I'm doing, I have a strong emphasis on the K-9 program, the Department of Corrections, reducing the population there and improving the conditions there. Using our space or the Division of Maritime Law Enforcement, we just combined the narcotics unit and the juvenile justice in that one building so they can work together better.
Halabak ko ay sayel kaldel blaltung. Ako teng K9 program mang adalam tingin mulwa sa ngaring selblira blira pilis al ngara iray sa hidal K9 facility mang suwal al gut maklise al mo ngir marbilis vom sisi already ling tokoera war on drugs. Kidam tingin mo gayid el kital karame so isrbela logi wa airport mang nisual malisi ay gel K9 program ar tirgal bilis pol si il nga ringa partner retiral bulis el da kalorior bol longasada le sel karal meso isra al sel abalur belaw. Cell number 2 Dilia Division of Corrections Telcoro Jail. Nisual mo improve ringi kut maklil maungile ol nga song sa IDC ar adal nga al sel. Le kidam ringi le kamamamlora oversight hearing ramdala a Senate es el gotal klol issue rablabu kalabus overcrowding. Okay? So kaya dia lorurin sa number 2 lol dalil girela at jail. Number 3, actually tiyang kako talungil atan, din kako taldi ka sola to sa ndimlel mo ya lome sa igel condition sa chelang mal makayal. Milara 7 al sembugi mal mo. Hindi ududel, kamal to ududel ng adimlengil mo ara sembugi mal mo Moses say. Tel no marekal wine and cheese event rarotari. Milara kung telal tiget, taldira ka makusra bulis sa moral mo say. Di ko timali maral masoda. Agam latingin mo ti. Mang malubog ade seguido dor mong tuay gel retirement check sa ringi mang kamal. Hindi ngirol taw dara ko tingel lol nga siya. Ya onye del lol dalia kay maritime security division ringi dal nga malal. Mang mlamo bertirigel mlara ikagitele museum orang ngari sa Los Ringi ar Police Division of Transnational Crime. Ngarbitara Museum. Ablal mo bertir ma Division of Juvenile Justice. Mla mo bertir roku el mora igagi dili nga malaala. Mel roku tadi ngarsegi di facility ri dili nga malaala Maritime Security Fish and Wildlife Protection when si ilmot makaroku yung mungil lorior. Tangara imol basyo. Gagi dagel tril la role randira al sila katebara less than 30 days.
Yeah, it's been less than 30 days. Okay.
I talk really fast. I don't like waiting. If you're waiting on an email, now they can go knock on the door next door instead of having, hey, send your email to me and calling them. So we're working a lot closer together, which is good for sharing information.
I see.
Oh, man kay gidalo siya mamakter sel mlemo bertir el morsay. Bol nga imol basyo. Bol subiirel di mare adartira ado gire lauriore lakada takaw email malube dir ka to makal mora ikagidale
lakal email ulang mo miyaw daw.
Aurior ya kunda seldo mendire kal malungi la adire kal di ka dongoy taalo mo lo makal ra tolong lela igal tablol obise nga nga mala mo ra ngarbe edra ang museum ang sekas e by dil subiirel ding arsel coordinate already. Mangmal ungil improvement sa selblal kat makli. Ting kako tal ko rati mare adalong adu emal adraurior mang.
Okay, so kita ko caldera. 3 things that you sort of focused on, or is there still more on that list, or?
I need another 2 hours.
Well, you did mention in your speech, and I want to read this out because this is a very good speech of yours. As I take this on this new role, I am committed to continuing the legacy of those who came before me and to upholding the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and public service. And then you say you recognize the challenges. What are challenges And you also mentioned this evaluation that you took, and I don't want to like bring out, sort of every single detail, but at least give us sort of the one big challenge that you want to change with the whole system.
Trying to think of something I don't want to change. Basically, transparency, if you want to sum it up. So with transparency in policing, it emphasizes making policies and procedures, data and information, and decision-making open to the public. I say that because the public needs our trust. They're losing confidence. They want to believe that we're there to help. They want to see their safety. They want people to be protected. We have more people coming here, a lot more tourists, which is beneficial to them, but people aren't going to come here unless there's safety and security.
Okay. Mangkagidak mulwase sel la lomda storia ako tal club kul gidal gut maklia transparency. Girel mo bla takle malin sa uriol doru rabla bolis. E dultoy di segi de yamu sube de waklaw marar adrablu. E club kul al bol ngani aklaw marang arar adrablu ra uriol loru la abli la bolis. Leng dia kadil gidal adal kera belur belaw tramos tartan maral mea ar turista aklakan ko nga maralmay e girela belo el selva akli ar adra belo o marang alkmul wasen si el abli la bulis el soba kaltria adra belo mar turistel el mea girin mo madenge o marang alkmul wasay ngaringi ar bulis el subi ilm saba akartir mo klarendi re mera belur belaw masegi di el kora malin sa maluubeng blagatak kalure la bulis raigel palesiri decision ringi Miguel Luriol Lorul, agagi del waya al kuate tele la talang tingil aurior procedures agirel mo bla takal mar adrablu mong mosabi il mo ni aklaw mar adrablu aurior rabla bolis.
And going back to that statement as well, you said uphold the highest standards of integrity. So knowing that the MOJ has a lot of officers and they're all very young, how are you planning to sort of improve the standard of the police officer?
Well, the young ones are the best.
I agree.
Because they've had the most recent training. Because when I joined, there was no such thing as the internet or vape pens. So they've already been educated on what to look for in the signs. The older people are dinosaurs or become dinosaurs if they don't learn. So when they bring in their information and they share it with other people, that's the best thing we can do.
Okay. Mangkagidat mula sa tirilgel bay magagarel tirgel magagarel bolis tirgel alom ko dong artik mo tak malungil bolis leng tamadu wal technology magagarel tamadu mare dan smu bangarang tirgel waya maklunge ge randil dom ko dong artik mo dinosaur ande ode sangani tokor belal dinosaur ndi dinosaur am lekkera bulul adrak mal ngaramol time rabadul al aerul telal ngedel telal rakram la memong mga meo del momdu al ngara kora internet mangrang mga dumalos pe aklol training tirigay dia kuntas se en kagida director was tirigay dia chualol nga sortir ding tirigay magigarel bolis tirigay dia bay kora wal peota training en ngila training at tirel al time.
So staying up to date on various law enforcement rulings and topics, such as search warrant training, sexual assault investigation training, or even street police interviews with the people on the ground. That's something that we have to do all the time because not everyone's going to be able to do a sexual assault case or a drug trafficking case. So we need to share amongst ourselves so we don't lose those skills. You learn basic skills in the academy. You learn more skills or education from the college. But you have to keep training and training so you don't forget what it's like.
Mangkagidalo malo marasel tora training. Yung sabi malmora police academy ang ani omsu, bese malmora college ang ani omsu, diesel club kul sel training ang momutul investigate ako kwal sexual assault cases, may gel kuk pebira guys ang kakarousal guys hindi ultoy na training kaya kamral momutul investigate. Maldo mang mula sa ngungit triyagi diel magikarel adre el angling putokate alra training trigal magikarel bulisa morning ay kay diel do urtir ending girel malmol malding nga training all the time.
So, police follow the law. The law changes. You have to keep current with that. Criminals don't follow the law. If they do, they try to find new ways to break it. So we need to understand that first.
Okay. Mangmal klablo kul tel de klablo mereka tulia di director lebih tengwa serbuli so ol tira krala. Endilla a chance. Mangiri ra tira buli sel mom de gisel kuk plat chance alla engiri mlamom de masing kuk mlamot chance alla. El ar kalbu ar criminal se tira el murula del ngare ngara tia kalol tira krala. Tira gi da bay malamal ralla. So what was the last thing you said about criminals who do not follow the law?
Well, they don't. That's why they're criminals.
Okay. Sige daw ulma tirigay daw abay di kalol tirak lala. Hindi bulis ol tirak lala anding chen sala amal do mangira dal nga training. I'll make sure
Up to date
lala.
So something as new as fentanyl. It's a new drug. I was around before methamphetamines. So the drugs keep changing and there's different effects. So policemen that are out with the public walking around, they can identify if the person's alcoholic drug, possibly mental illness, or they're addicted to a synthetic drug like methamphetamines or fentanyl. So we can get that person help. We can call EMS and bring them to the hospital for care.
Okay, hindi na kaltida blal dalin mal klabel kul. Ngase way nga kal waklunge nga direktor amal koy. Kamle akmadinge methamphetamine. Tegi dal tom kadongonik mulwa si ice. Tingani nga besul kuk mlatop dal tom kadongonik mo si fentanyl. Maldo mang klabel kul tirgal bulis, especially tirgal nga patrol. Agirin mom dinget mulwa si mang seldomes ra aden kang ngar eungela alcohol influence. Milimarom, al-ubang nga methamphetamine influence, al-ubang fentanyl, al-ubang nga mental health issue ngi. Ay gagidal do manggiril lo spe at training ar bulis nga patrol, lenggiril si ildong ia adak mula setyang laangral al situation na lang ngi. Bol si iril ngusel maral lungil ngeso, al moringel adal tiram la mesangal al idereng al telaol, al-ubang nga eungela ice, mangguk nga ringa tele-tele lo katetela adal nga ice, malubeng nga fentanyl tayo del bes el gar el makit el gar alubeng kokti nga niya mental health rim kita telulang manggirela bulis el mudu lo mesrar ade muy urtik bulo asing kang rewep trangar aray gigi del blaktong bol mudu ngusel nga sol ngul masang.
So you're setting up for sort of an ongoing training and updating for all the police officers.
Yes. To expand on that, when you build a standard operating procedure, it's only standard. If you get too detailed on how to do everything, when there's one slight change, it doesn't work. So our standard operating procedures are going to be a living document. I've already read through the regulations from the MOJ that when there's a change, I can amend my SOP to be current.
Okay. So, adum le start al mal chokolog yung tingi when dio islo si katengel mo rin nga igay diel standard operating procedures ay gal division sa pla police. Elang kay del mulwa si ay gal tingel lol kor kita ay gal tinget sel dol kol girel tial what melala arabalur belaw. It's a living document. Mangoba sa gid lo sisul tol wase mangoba tial SOP tial del standard operating procedures e omes ringi e nga niya klisi el chance ringi le girel mo atter regel kukka tele lauriol bo the albangal year in and year out mga rin sige the KCL kuk mo amen daigel SOP standard operating procedure al mo atter daigel training al buli sa malay maigel kuk white LBS al karal fentanyl maigel circumstances sa gitan mo sis para
I see. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And then, so one of the things that, and I think Vice Alamne mentioned it, you mentioned something about installing a sort of a pin and recognition and sort of building that sort of part of the ranking system for the
Yes.
police.
I think the minister was sitting next to me up on stage, and I said, "Do you see what I see?" He said, "No." I said, "Look at all the policemen that aren't uniformed. They're uniformed police." And then he started picking out the ones that were missing different badges and name tags and stuff. I said, "That's only the beginning. But how do you pick out who the people who work hard? He's like, what do you do about that? I said, well, let's start with a plow and pin. They graduate the academy. And for every level of training up to sergeant, you can put clusters. They're called oak leaf clusters or whatever you want. It's another pin that goes on top. So if I'm looking at a young or old person, depending on the ribbons, I know exactly what they've done and what they did to get that. So if they're EMT, they have a ribbon. If they're a police officer with 1, 2, or 3 level training, I'm not so sure about education though, but I can see what level they're at and what awards they've gotten, to even include marksman, sharpshooter, or expert for weapons qualifications.
And what does that do when you have
Oh.
that sort of, you know?
You want to translate that?
Hoy, hale, bang
Pabo.
solawak translator ngi. Akmaral, lagi maral mlar cell formation al mlaringi ray kagi dali onge delurior pala national gym ing wase wal koraka di kakaro sa kal uniform tirkal al bulis siya direkal girel taral ako raw real atake inertir direkal koranga niya tiya kalungil patanda ma gira dal mo matmo kundi sel mal soal mal al mo ora makatak niya sebol sebe dal mistri rapinar ad mal sumkara kamlak praday ta police academy ingkuk ngariyawan rapinal mo bang al sukom makakmalmle baka taw ta maka kurang ari sile tapkan award ng rangkel top dani kuk ngariyawan al omu al sukom maka PO1 yang ngariya igar ka om PO2 hindi rin kuk ngariya assigner ka om PO3 ngariya assigner ka om sergeant mang ngariya kuk assigner ka mang sebe dal diomes raaf madingin kumulwaseng mlamo ang rawrang karingi amal mlebla karungulek malungi raw rere mang maral mo buto kay kiti el wayal pinselolap tomo ko waseng insignia mangwal ko lang ngarial wayal ngariya ol hotel ikel urior ol oblam katmok Michael daw al om ngani rabla bulis
Ya kura swak sa lulukor niyo dire ke pay sa luwasay todo oro ko yun makaramo yung nasenta at tira ko talbla karang rir. You know, mengkura malwal ruta triti kal adal mo bla karang sa sumungan niya ol hotel lang alila sa nga kamle bla karang ube. Ya ko mlo ko mre ka tagi training tagi lang alel say.
I say, masagi din sa edal di o mesaktir matirkagi dal di o sisiwa uniform martir rokoy. Din di o regagi dal pinakamadik mong ka ang nga level sabi mal karel police hindi bi ko si ngasong sa years ka force di bi ko si kakmalimi sel black armum MSS ngin lawrioring kada corrected lang patukapin na so sige di awal ko raswal ma mo mruring ela ka mo sige dal next question na kalwa si ngara mo tekaray ay kita mal
I say, what
the-
does it, you know, what does it do?
It does 2 things.
Yeah.
So as an impressionable young police officer, you have nothing. You have no respect from other people. They don't know what you've done, but it encourages you to get that next ribbon so you feel more comfortable amongst your peers. So if I see an older police officer who's got none, what has he been doing for 20 years? So it motivates you to get to the next rank. It's going to help you on promotions. Right now, I have to read resumes.
Yeah.
Number 2, the public sees this.
Yeah.
So if I get out of my car, I'm renting a ticket, they're going to see I have no ribbons. They don't know me. But if my partner walks up with all the ribbons, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Let me talk to him. You get confidence from them, from the people.
Okay, magigidalo ay sulwase mang maklabal ko laiga ngale ngultoy ra gigid yel omolabal el ribong mal ubeng pin en si edal mom dingir mulwase ka awang rang awrere mal pulis so ngulo example wasen se mal mlamoloy eral om pulis enti omen tiya ka imol pinal ngara abile matamadingir mulwase ndirga kangaran berli ay ka maklabal ko lo maksam mariara magigrel bulis dir silis bara al sila kal bulis nga randir tel di kada bal tam minister of justice akmla mesang sela material magigrel bulis di kamla police academy etamaral sa mariare emrik le meses mrula auriora kal bulis mang sel example lo speria se el stobar ka terul bulis le maybe makita tel lighter kawe lebleu matamaral me gel gotal me aklol adan dilamen dia ka pinaringi ma kora mga adu or kanya bay to da gerel bulis dila kalme alameng ngariya ribo ngariya malbulsyo mo kung kay ang arbabal bulis mang ka mo somel bay mga adu ring gaygidiel lo mesa ngal kumuluwasay ngarbabal bulis lololta ikay di el pinari mo kamatingin mong
Wala mo klorong
mo klorong
Wala mo
wasay
klorong dili ka mesangi.
mga adoril wasay leng walungil bulis wal korongil bulis
Yeah.
so confidence.
Yeah. So when it comes to promotions or new job changes and stuff, people within want to know why, who they're related to, who's his fathers, stuff like that. But if they see you're going to an interview and one guy's full of pins, he's expert in everything, I don't think I have a chance. So people understand that too, that to get that to the next level of promotion, do your job, do the best you can, go to your schools, go to your training, and do the best in everything and continue your education because it's going to help you in the long run.
Ang malmasaulit talbal dali director Lavit taleng tiang ako ra dire ka leader gidan Marcel obisel git makla president talogi executive order 462 ending dia kaudo to matolita other always mo si el fundergit el maktabi isel office of professional standard ay kan lolo ko ya director amor web tersegi dir office of professional standards mambalgo lak mulwa si selbol teme dal malaya ang arira audo do malube ya da mala promotion le ko lang oriak kal Marcel next level ela ka di adultoira kora resume ang adultoira polsi adal dira ka adultoira igay dal award dal oblam ngay may gel pinner kaw ma to decide adultoira igay de bodul wasing kagi da sabe el musel urior leng so kumang dia ka way igay dia mafele ma sel filer ka rabla polisa dia ka lol oltay kagi dia el waya award del oblam ngay malubing tial promotion ali kamle ngil nga training am lang ma certificate raw eta mokmulwa say hindi ka alto ule lang ngila apoy karangar be dal adala minister of justice alto mamlang util alurior mal tiya kalungil el bulis ngila mal makita ngarel selong adorar adrat kulara el diom yung toktora rupa kamar maasel stober tira ay kalmlirir ending mlangu tira al promotion melang mlamu arba berbulis lengil ngalagel oktamalela udu al Minister of Justice
I see.
mang modia kaway gaygi diyal al do modia kaygi la kadiyul toyre kaygi diyal ngara al sila recorder tir al mlang ma-award ang pin ang ngigaygi diyal certificate sang ribong sabi emal promote ra adam mo subiir sel tokol lol korngil waseng transparency mo maalin sa blakatakla a promotion ra al sela bla bulis.
All right. So now when you talk about transparency, I think the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is corruption. So let's talk a little bit about because I know one of your main focuses is really to battle corruption. So what sort of planning do you have for a small island when you're coming into a small island and trying to battle corruption?
So there's two parts. First one, let's talk about transparency in policing, sharing our information and making it open to the public. So we can report the number of crimes we find, how many arrests we make, where, when, and to validate the costs of public safety. There is a cost for the kind of protection you want. If you want 100% crime to stop, then we're going to need 100% more money. So the public decides how much they're willing to give up. They're giving up their liberties by the more police they see. So we want to be open to them.
Okay. Mangkagide malungil karim merandil gide la korupsyon mangkagide mga adol wasang nga tablol al points al suakal mokmong akot korupsyon ngire dal mo plakatak kalwasay telal support ludo da tungul al masabli la bolis el lengsuada 100% al protection mga sumang suwada kotal nga rababal protection dar bulis engire dal invest eloya segi del udo al morar already dar bulis el mong segi del al protection dar bulis mang mo sabi dar bulis el mongil already al mangkar belu mar adra belu ito sikan man.
this wasn't written down or forethought, but since I've been here, I believe in oversight. Using the database that I have will let other sections, specifically the chiefs, see what the other units are doing. So if someone's working a case, it gets thrown out. If someone's working a case, it gets thrown out. Why are they throwing away cases? I can bring that to the attention of the VP or for the Attorney General. So there's going to be other oversight instead of, oh, there's nothing to see here. Everything's going digital. I need reports every day. Those reports get turned in. They can't go back and change them. So what happens from there is I can do a manpower analysis to see how many people are doing what money is being spent on a certain area, and what is being done. So if I define where the problems are, I'll know where corruption is.
Okay. Mga dal cell number 2 niya di mo spare tayo dal database al gidar elang am lastat al maruringi mang each al chief agirel nga niya walurior lo wa sel el template niya agirel lo otik mo nga lurior alongot mokla malsuko mga niya tokol guys el kora di dia kal may ganin mo obis attorney general e kora di mo oit e seguida niya am agirel di kal logiu ti del template am asiraber lo sega nga ul mang kora di mo oit el guys e dia kal bol el complete el bor obis attorney general. Okay, so sengarang ruli ra corruption elat ti akok ti o sige kapaku ay leng kita matingil kumulwase ay gablaktung araw lolel olbira kalulaw al mulwase kita amatingil wase selso ko mangaringar adrir arbulis in aigel kay sertira di kalmay kaningin mor obis attorney general ngaringa aigel do tingil kumulwase kaki da gire dal mol tutak kaningileng ultra drugs al ubeng involve ra position ra drugs yaw erabol mereka investigation ng gigi de los sisil adam latob drabelur belaw. So that case inconclusive never goes anywhere. Sige da lolo ngingkang. Sabi dal lawyer ti altora corruption logiw ti al database lo mes lo say ngaraigel so isbra al sela a system ti al template el dia kal may ringil more obisra attorney general menti kal bora end. Wal mo oy tradolong lela ablia pulis ma obis attorney general sige dalol ko ringi
Eti amalungil vice lekman narong sa triar adrabalul malkulo say ang dekal fair el mura bebilar adleng arbebe adakuk dekal kawad tin kal adlorior abla pulis menguk mo makita ungertir and then bebilar adakuk uknong tangat adrir bebilar orior abla pulis menguk nongila ungertir
kamal musula rantil lo islo sa kamlarong siling tiang ato ng alil to ko hindi atang mas hindi ng aksel gulgol waisay di ka klamarang tegi to gulgol karuro
selewase who you know and diakal what you know say da kurawal that's basically what you're sort of eliminating out of this because
Or identifying, depending on how you look at it. So I'll break it down even simpler. If we respond to a call, we saw it, we do a radio call, it becomes a radio log. If a public calls it in, which we encourage, it becomes a radio log that we dispatch. Once that starts, it goes to the remarks column of what happened. Well, a person was arrested, and then I go to the next level, which is the blotter, because it went from just verbal altercation to an arrest, and if the arrests got worse, they found drugs, then it gets turned over to the next division. So they keep linking together, and we did all this work, and then it goes to a different agency or division. Where does it go from there? Oh, they threw it out. I want to know why. Not that they're related to someone or they had money or we let them go. We want to make sure all work is accounted for because no one wants to work for nothing. They want to know they're being recognized. So the database will help us do that.
Okay. Okay, halo niya ko di ko to panging say mang kagidan mulwase o giw ti dal database since al mom dengan mulwase sel deng malmleng lo girel gersel guys leng sabe dal nga niya adalom kadong al may madatuwa badal example sa adom kadong al may marbuli sa tilo badal mong yal labong let's say domestic violence ang deklawadra arube kal matamong alabong end up nga niya adrak sa lola bang kal el maas tial blay tamlong ya miltigal mula sa ngania marijuana ubang ulaba ice mela seguir el kuk mlangul morsel division lo ngara ala drugs mela sel transfer ngil kuk morsegi dia do mogel wasay mesel kuk division lo ngara ala toera drugs lo okut makle investigation yo kuk ngulo duro klil moray gagi dele obisra echi lubeng lorger so tiagi diel mo sabi edel traga every stage tial sel one phone call al mlay ako mo sabi el mo makatakla already ar bolis el mulwasay mlamolo melol tirak sel process el gidel loyak niya lubeng milo oy tradolong lela mungger.
Yes, you mentioned processes. So along the way, if they're being thrown out from inaccuracies, misspelling, they weren't read their rights, they waived their rights, but requested a lawyer later, we can train our law enforcement personnel to do that better so it doesn't happen again. It's going to identify our weaknesses and strengths along the way so we can continue our education and follow the crime from when they commit it all the way up until it's closed from incarceration or a fine.
Okay, mangkagi na mga doon girel sa ideal process at yal wa denwa arrest maral mora tutakal mo marekal tutakal lokal busa. Sige dial dom kadonik mong process. Mongkukwa seyal suko mongkukwa yal blo lakal sa belti al gaysel mongil lang le rabatakla urior. Leng ngari ang liar bolis el giril mongoy wala kor kausel arrestar ka way kel dom kadong mong Miranda right sa mangila dal al amoy war ka mang mlotia ka kat maklisay mang miloy tagays eta dira kal mom dengel masyado spe at training marbulis sa giril do maklat ka til giril at training al wasenta kal sa MLT nga adal me arrestar ngi ti ka mongoy way kay dal maltela mga wabian ngol masamal sa ingani mang tiagi dal database aldong club el gula sabi edel giptra kay se mondelo se marad improve our area police lang kukno rabatak kalu redir aw ul mang blodia kal sabi el makatmok kal morselo lubong al tiagi dal process mang malmasaw lal to makwase thank you tel database kay dira ko korngi de ngagi dam lami ang
dia kadil selgo meser tengi bai sing dia kadil lo ngotmok tel database ngobat ngosper tel database mang me ay kalwa say tiang ram de kalorior se ngaram de kalorior tiang ram morior tiang de kalorior se so ako nda se kita mal close to teleling wal ako meser tialo relen kal other ilang and I know we're kind of running out of time but and you're probably going to be here more often because we want to hear more information from you but what I'm seeing here is you're giving really the power to the people. You're letting the people be able, because right now I feel that I am, with what the information that you're giving me, that I am able to fight for my rights if I feel like I was not treated correctly by an officer. I felt like there was some relative connectivity going on over here. I can actually say, you know what, I'm going to call you out and this is going to happen. And we're going to go to court and I'm going to win. I feel like I'm protected,
You're supposed to,
Yeah. And before that, you kind of lost that. You enak makti taklo ay sasing kadamo ko mo o gikader mudra other domestic tilorio lo bentirma bulis el ngararan ko mo gikader mudra sa makarado lo kami wa o mo tiata telil mergi di kumeser tiang wal lom over tiang from the ground up melisi ay gel dimlangarngi ospero kult makalorior.
Oye, Randy, Director Levita, tegi dal database ringi, tegi dal wasing club el kula data sharing ma information or dolay. Kagi dak muna alo say, kami din po wase sel weekend between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. ang nga truck racing ang malal. And it's true.
Wow.
Hindi ilang mga those ay dal information, ang mamdingan ko wase. Sel obra nga mala radolong lela 10 p.m. mo 2 a.m. ra Friday night Saturday night engire mo nga pulis mo poster ngi say the time prevent tay gidil drag racing that's happening there say the time. Okay, so edir ka ngosong so other club sel ngartyang.
Why say?
Mang say dadol ko ngi waseng maral ngarinya to ngi telurio lulto real experience ngi lulu ay sergid mga hospital database wase kome akmal de espera ang RBF. Tel ng RBF at tirakalol tradrax to ko radik kira ang RBF. Madal by sengire dal mom sisi tele laurio el mora al se la belurang arbeit. Ra ku kegi del toera atarbangela uspela adraksa.
Okay. And I like I was saying, we're kind of running short on time. But this is definitely not going to be the last. I mean, this is definitely not the last time that we're going to bring you on, because we really are interested in the work that you do. But one of the biggest things that you did mention was transparency. And then you also mentioned this to me earlier about public relations and how you will be sort of making sure that, you know, the public is informed with the right information, and so that people know what's going on. I think a lot of times we've gone through certain situations or certain incidents, and then we weren't, you know, people weren't aware of, you know, what was the actual situation, and, you know, we only heard it after on Facebook and all these. Most of the time in Palau, we hear everything off of Facebook. So how will you improve that communication between the Ministry of Justice and the people of Palau?
Well, I've only been here 4 weeks and 3 days. I do have a lot of other things I'm working in the background. So one of the things is probably a public affairs officer. We have some plans in mind. Some of the things I have on my list I can't share due to sensitivity.
Yeah.
But there are things I can do that I can maybe have a BPS corner, a little piece in the newspaper that reports, hey, we found this and that. We'll protect children in certain crimes, certain sexual assaults and
Yeah,
stuff.
we used to do police blotter.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Now, we keep saying database. Everything's information these days. Everything's social media, so it's all of us sharing information with each other. And once something has been processed, it has been educated, we can let the public see it.
I see.
So if they're not happy with our results, and then we're there for the people. So
Yeah.
if they want us to increase patrols to prevent drugs, we'll do that too. We'll send more people to training. Whatever they want, we provide. Okay, it all starts at the people. Okay.
Mangkagitan man nak mo tokol nungil toka director labit talwasya maral nga niya alam tira adrablo mom tingi ay kagitan lurior lorula pla police hindi na kalwaseng mal tribal ko ram asar ela mal doswela sebol nga niya ko public affairs officer al sabi elme ako provide get information
Feedback.
oo mala feedback ra community aktiso kal mo malmutal mo ungil makataklisel dili atokel adjudicated Girel mo mare kage seguida se adrol top the information. Makulingit tra adrablo lo se bomo dang lisay misil omem kol lengaringa kable victim rage se somlom dek maseng girel ger. Dia kalsal mal blol se adrol top the information until ang momrek selul tutakla mang wada adjudicated daw seng wablal matriter momrek top the decision record sige nga as adrol top the information mal sigo mang pending wadir kal nga process the criminal case eng dia kal sabi adrol top the information we cannot give out information if dir ka kabol adjudicated dir ka kabol matriter momrek.
I think just right now with what you guys just mentioned, I feel like we've just created sort of a yin and yang to our Ministry of Justice with the experience of our Vice President and Ministry of Justice in law, and of course your experience in public safety, and of course being a police officer yourself. And so I think now we've created sort of a really strong yin and yang foundation for really making, really improving our Ministry of Justice. And so question mo kawe Vice ang nga kuraman ne last kura lulukuring kang transparency, corruption, how do you see kaladal almlamel waseng malmo kura walo maser kaura tora Ministry of Justice.
Kamal misulara malungil ger. Ngal director levit maltoba sangre la longot ado buigra Texas ng gida kun university talgibal el Mosoro in the his heart is in the right place. Mangakmal mesal malblakar ng lorior di kabartaler ngak mangmegi ado algira te lorior. Tiang mamre nga sulela deputy director ng kagital ngartiang deputy director Richard Ngiratrang Aling kamamaltede amotmak okore sa kau meeting rabe kal kotulurior al masada tetele laurior wasing makarang at improve eda reliable bulis mar adra belu bol sub illo marangay ke lurior al kita matmokla mang segit ya amal soakal tulil wasing maral lungi raureden maral blakarungul rauriol loru le akmal mal sol wase seltingel wasing soal mel me ol ngasew maral البلاقرون لول نسيو رجيد المو سبقيد المو ومسيسي البلي لابوليس اللي أدرى بلوها سبقيد لو مراري مقمال مرينغا سوليلا His Excellency President Surang Whips Jr. الملونgi التين قايجيد يلمي إمو إندل واسي أقو ngin sel دوريو لو بنتريار أدرى مريكي لي إوانديا سيد المالدي بلغتقل أدو ngora wada سيد كموا سيد tiang agiran buat mo kalau tegi datale telel wati datale telel diak segi dial lo singir adal wase dia kan gengkel kuk adri ar wat angal tum lagi dal adar bela ay katale tele adar bela di ungil le tegi der klau adar gid sisi aklau adar gid ma kay buting radlong le di sel lamen kay gid el bolorio ol waise sel tora transparency yung malmob lakatak kalaurio loro maalin sa taletal process o logiungi yung motia kaway gigi di lo malkoy alwasing ngil adaltaang ngil lola belmortaang ngil dumang waise abi ila adria muterwataang mang akti wasya malse ito marangay galurio loro isegi dia mongusukak ang si ito marangay galurio loro Kamal misal at alam lo sa amal mir el alm ay in the police week. Tegi the last del sins na police week mal mare nga sulem at alam lo sa el me mar other bela a mesa ngi mo madangali ero rong siya tigingel el girela sel la garrenga ngira reoro loro.
So if you'd have one last message for the public, I know you really stressed it out on your speech about integrity, professionalism, and public service. Would be one last message about you being here and your work with the Ministry of Justice for the public.
Well, I came here with the impression that everything was broken. But I'm surprised at the individuals, the law enforcement officers. There's so many out there with professionalism. I'm not going to start off from scratch. So my key thing coming here is to build the foundation, start with my supervisors, hold them accountable, hold what they do with their employees as they can do with me, because we have a two-way reporting system. If you have a problem with me, you can go above me, but only until you approach me first, okay? Having accountability, knowing what everyone's doing, let's start from there. Let's find out why someone's a bad leader. Let's find out what is going on. Is it resources? Is it manpower? Is it money? They don't have time off. They're not being recognized. They work too hard. Their tickets are being thrown out. Every arrest they go to, they're not getting paid overtime. There's a lot of things I'm looking at, but I found just as many good things too. I've only been here 4 weeks, so please give me another 4.
Hindi ako po ko dito ay kirandi di baktul wasi so set tol to kor over el ang awasi abalu yarang alakang alis. Mungkin dal mo plakarungo dal kasabaakle mlisi already dar police. O mal masanga masaw el al sales tel interview ya ruba kaldios lo makaltanga targi rokoy lo makaltanga tartel belwada belur belaw.
All right, madan dim lagi kita kukuram no sabi el share el altugubet el family hour el nga Friday and detail share kita family hour mo mul bekal Thursday every Thursday at 11 a.m. So kumal masulang al tune in. With that said, thank you to the newly appointed director Lavit. Is it Lavit? The R-E is silent? Okay, so it's Lavit. So thank you again to the newly appointed Director of Bureau of Public Safety. Malkura nginarngude kura moklorngude lemang setmong malklo uldaswel marngul el ngartial toira akalbulis matoira Ministry of Justice. So again, mal thank you mura kalbe SL Director and thank you Vice President el Director mal support ngi o nga certa gidulur mga makatmok lal mulkilala adre belaw marangal kita adre belaw.
Oo, di final ko ni Randy Luasen kagi del tiro kul sin mena kalwasel sum so mil find out ta photo ma information.
Yes.
In www.facebook.com/VP Executive Branch.
Okay.
Ay nga niya
Alright.
photos and information that you can get from there. sa
Great.
Facebook.
Okay,
Thank
malungin.
you so much.
And then of course al kurang niya kukura karmi malubong niya kura muspe sa ilum ko tong ra.
Oo.
office,
488 Vice President,
Vice President.
488-3198.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are listening, if there's something going on, you need help, 1422 is the number,
Yes.
or if it's an emergency, 911.
911. Yay.
All right, dim na gigid, kumal masulag tune in ra MOJ Family Hour. Back to you, Spide.
Okay, sige da. Aguk program lagi da MOJ Family Hour. Tiang am laringi ra. Aongi melurior.